let's talk about the downfalls of being in a capitalistic society. Now, before we go into it, capitalism is the best system as far as it's a lot better than the caste system. It's a lot better than the kings and versus the servants. This gives everybody the opportunity who's willing to work hard to move up in the world, right? So capitalism is probably the best form of economic system that we have existing, right? But just like with everything, there's pros and cons to it, right? And I want to give you guys some very informative cons that you need to be aware of, and some pitfalls you need to be aware of, right? Before we get into it, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, and share the video, right? So I'm watching New Amsterdam, right, on Netflix. A very good show. And they're talking about how the hospitals don't really care about the patients. They're just about making money. Now, I kind of knew this going into it, that this is what this was, but I didn't see how deep the rabbit hole really goes, right? And it made me think, what other areas in business are like this, right? Because to think about that is very heartbreaking, right? You have a doctor that comes in that's supposed to have your best interests at hand, that's trying to save your life or trying to cure you or trying to make you better. He's only giving you prescriptions that patch up your symptoms. He's not curing the problem, therefore making you come back even more and more and more and getting more of your money. You have people getting cut open that literally have nothing wrong with them. You have these two things going on with the fact that healthcare is so freaking expensive. So not only is it expensive, it's corrupt in a way as well, right? Now, I'm not saying all hospitals are like this. There's some good hospitals out there. There's some good ERs. There's some good urgent cares out there. I'm not bashing everybody, right? But we'd be lying if we said that this didn't exist, right? So I sat back and pondered on what other avenues or what other ways are these people that are supposed to have our best interests show up, right? And immediately what came to mind was the dentist. A dentist will do all these tests, right? Insert and work on your teeth, cavities. Some cases, cavities that aren't even there. Have you guys ever been to the dentist and they said, hey, we need to fix your enamel. We need to drill in there and fix it, right? But in your mind, when you chomp around, when you do stuff with your teeth, right, you don't feel any pain or anything related to what they're talking about, right? Because guys, if you have a toothache, that thing hurts. I've never had a toothache, but the way people tell it to me, the way my mother talked about it, the way you guys maybe had a toothache, you want that needle simply just to stop that pain, right? You know that big needle that they give you to deaden your enamel or dead in that area, they actually want that, even though that thing hurts like a mug, right? You know when something's wrong, but they're telling you something is not wrong. Now, granted, there are some cases where you don't feel it right away. There's some cases where the cancer hasn't invoked its symptoms sometimes, and it hadn't popped up yet. But how many times have you guys heard stories? This is going back to the doctors, right? Have you heard stories where something's wrong with you? You feel it. You know deep down in your heart of hearts of whatever pain you're feeling, right? That something is wrong. The doctors will run these tests and come up with nothing. As if nothing is happening to negate your pain, right? Like as if nothing is happening. You got those professions. You got lawyers that are corrupt. I think if you watch Goliath, you understand that to the fullest. If you understand family court, the child support system court, which is technically not even a court, right? It's unconstitutional. But nobody challenges that. The only professions that you are privy to this behavior is a salesman. The guy that comes on, he calls you and tries to sell you on some deal or sell you on something that really doesn't affect your life directly, right? You already know off rip, right, that this is not something you need to do or something you want to do, right? But we simply neglect, or we simply look over all the other professions, right, where we see the same predatory behavior. See, in a capitalistic society, you have to cross your T's and dot your I's. You have to be fully aware, because once that other person understands that you're ignorant, they're going to take advantage of you every time. And this being a channel of reality, a channel of where we examine the truth for being the truth, this is not a channel where we bash women, where we bash men just for bashing them. We're examining and breaking down and looking at where they're wrong in their arguments, right? Or where they might be right. This is the downfall of a capitalistic society. The morality of it is gone. Some businesses are moral, but mainly it's just ethics, right? The law is what keeps them in check, right? But in a capitalist society, you have to understand anybody will sell you anything, right? And that the majority of it is just about making money. Whichever way is the best way to make the most money, that's the capitalist way, right? Which is not, I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm saying that's what it is. You have to take it for what it is. You have to accept the hard truths for what it is, right? I don't want you guys to take this personal. I just want you guys to be more aware and be more observant. That's the whole goal of my channel. But that's my video. I spoke long enough. You guys go and like, comment, subscribe, share the video if you like the video, and we're out.